Well, it sure feels like the Hawks season is over, is what I would say if I was a crazy person. Welcome back to the Reggie Chatman Show. I am your host, Reggie Chatman, as we wrap up night 2 of the NBA, night 1 for the Atlanta Hawks. And boy, we have so much to talk about. My name is Reggie Chatman. I am the host of this show, and I'm a sports anchor reporter based here in Atlanta, Georgia. So I cover the Hawks and every other sporting team. So make sure you guys hit that like and that subscribe button for way more content like this as we break down and talk about each of the different teams in and around the Atlanta area. So, obviously, we're talking about basketball tonight, and we have to talk about the Hawks. Tonight on this show, we're going to be breaking down the things the Hawks did wrong in their 138-118 big-time loss to the Toronto Raptors on their opening night on their home floor. We're also going to have a little bit of a lanyap segment tonight as we talk about some of the crazier things we saw over the course of the first 2 days of the NBA. It's way more fun to overreact to stuff right off the top, and so I'm going to just overreact to some stuff and then just pray I'm right at the end of the year. We're just going to look back at this video at the end of the year and see if I was correct. So make sure you guys subscribe and you guys follow along for this journey as we continue to build this show out. Welcome to the Reggie Chatman Show. All right, on today's episode, Raptors beat the Hawks 138-118, and boy, was it a beatdown at State Farm Arena. And man, it's rough to see, especially because they put on all the stops, right? You had 2 Chainz coming out. You had Quavo performing at halftime. The vibes were incredible out for everything outside of the basketball on the actual floor. I mean, and this is a lot of it's just because of the fact that there was so much hype going into this season for the Atlanta Hawks. They made all the moves during the offseason. You add Kristaps Porzingis, you add Nickeil Alexander-Walker. A lot of hype about this Hawks team, some real optimism for the first time in a long time as you get players back like Jalen Johnson. You've seen Dyson Daniels explode. Trae Young is Trae Young. He's a great player. You're seeing the young guys get better. You're seeing things mesh together, and people feel like this is the year that the Hawks can really do something. So it feels really deflating that they lost in this type of way on their home floor to start this season. Now, obviously, I made that joke at the beginning. The season's obviously not over. The Hawks losing the first game of the year means not that much at the end of the day. It's a long, long season. There are plenty of opportunities to get this game back, but that is not going to stop us from talking about how bad this really looked, as we can kind of figure out almost off the rip what the kind of problems are when you just take a look at the stats, right? You know the Hawks are going to be a team that's going to be trying to really shoot the basketball well, right? When you look at the box score, some things jump out very, very quickly, right? You look at the three-point shooting, right? Jalen Johnson 0 for 2. Okay, Zach Arishizay went 2 for 6. Kristaps Porzingis went 4 for 7. Those two guys at least hit a couple of their shots, but here's where things get bad, right? You saw Trae Young go 1 for 7. You know he's a good three-point shooter, and he should be knocking down shots. You saw Luke Kennard, who you brought into this roster to fix a shooting problem and add some more shooters around Trae. He went 1 for 5. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who is known as a 3-and-D guy, also went 1 for 5. So if those people that are at home doing the math, that means they went 3 for 17. The Hawks ended up shooting, I believe, a total of 28% from 3. That's not going to get it done. That's not going to get it done, man. And yeah, that's rough to see. Rough to see. And obviously the big part of the reason that they ended up losing this game was that third quarter. The Toronto Raptors just figured something out. 45 points in that third frame to outscore the Hawks 45-28 in that frame. And it was a quarter where actually it was close at one point. Jalen Johnson had an and one that I believe cut the lead to 4 or 3. Let me see if I can find that here. He hit a and one. Let's see, there it is. It was 77-73. And somehow, some way, you end that quarter as the Raptors were leading 110-87 after 3. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. They just went crazy. Oh man. So yeah, obviously really disappointing. I don't want to really just lay too much on this because, like I said, it's the first game of the year. I think some of the bigger issues here are just the fact that this roster is not played together. You got a lot of new guys that haven't played together. You've got a lot of guys that haven't played together in a long time. You got guys that haven't played together ever. And obviously in the preseason, they weren't really using that as a major opportunity to try and find their way to build the roster, because unlike the other sports where maybe you need to be ready to go right off the top of the year. It's 82 games. You got a lot of time to be able to get this team correct. I understand that Quinn Snyder is a coach that recognizes the system, and it's cool too because when you talk to Jalen Johnson like we did some weeks ago, he feels like this roster can kind of figure it out. Now, I'm sure they are a little bit shell-shocked by this turn of events to start the season off. But, overall, I think obviously a disappointing loss, but plenty of room for improvement. So once these guys end up playing a little bit longer together, getting under Quinn Snyder's system a little bit more, I think that we'll see a little bit of difference. But, I mean, the stats are going to have to look different than they did, right? It's weird. I think I looked at stats earlier. I don't think any of the Hawks players were plus except for Mo Gay. Yeah, that's correct. So if you go Jalen, Zachary Shashay, Kristaps, Trey, Dyson Daniels, all of those guys, all in the minuses. Dyson Daniels was only -3, but everybody else, -15, -14, -11, -14. Onyeka Okongwu was -19 when he was on the floor. So, yeah, obviously something's going to have to change. You give up 138 points the first night of the year. You had both R.J. Barrett and Scotty Barnes going crazy. All 5 starters for the Toronto Raptors finished in double figures. You also had, Grady Dick that went absolutely insane with 21 points off the bench. So, obviously disappointing. But like I said, this is just game one. No reason to really freak out about it. So let's just kind of move ahead and talk about some of the positives of it, right? Man, welcome back, Jalen Johnson. I mean, how exciting is to have him back? What a potential star that we have here in Atlanta. He's a player that obviously missed the big, large chunk of last year with that injury to his shoulder. And this was in a year where he looked like he was trending upward to become an all-star. This year, he has all the opportunity to do just that. Jalen Johnson finished with 22 points in his debut back in the NBA. 22, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, only 3 turnovers. Went 8 for 10 on his free throws in 35 minutes. He led all the starters in minutes played. 7 of 13 shooting overall. The guy had a good night. He is going to be the real key here, I think, to where this Hawks team can really go. I do think there's better players. I think Jalen is obviously top 2 behind Trey Young. Trey Young's your best player, but this team will go as far as Jalen Johnson will continue to bring them because he is an incredible piece for this team. Not only does he work hard on the offensive end with his athleticism and his youth, but he's also a player that has tried really hard at playing good defense. He moves well. He's athletic. I think he's a guy that can help this team really succeed. Another exciting thing we got to see, Zachary Richichet, 16 points in a starting role, 2 rebounds, 1 block, had no turnovers, went 2 for 6 on threes, with a pretty efficient night, 7 of 13 shooting, just like Jalen Johnson, but just in 14 less minutes. I think Zachary Richichet has a chance to really make a massive jump this year. Like a massive, massive jump. I think back to the times when, so I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, right? I used to watch the Golden State, I used to. I love the Golden State Warriors. They're my hometown team because that's what I grew up watching. And so I remember there was this one summer, I can't remember what year it was, where Steph and Clay both went and helped play against the USA national team. This was before they were actually on the roster. So they went and played against them overseas over the summer, right, just to help get the team right. And I remember thinking, this would be the year that they make a jump, right? Well, in similar capacity, Zachary Richichet went and played overseas for the French national team over the summer. And I think that experience for him is going to be something that's going to be super, super valuable for him. I remember seeing all the different clips throughout the summer where you could just see that he's moving a little bit more fluid. He's moving like he's recognizing the game a little bit better, right? His offense is starting to look a little bit more polished. He's getting a little bit more confidence as well. And I think that as we move back into the NBA season after him playing more grown men overseas for the entire year, the entire summer, comes back to the NBA, fresh and ready to go, has an opportunity to be really, really special for this Hawks team this year. I think he's going to have a massive year. I think we're going to be having conversations about him making that big jump like Jalen Johnson did last year where you're like, this kid could be special. And I think he has an opportunity to really be just that. We also got a chance to see Kristaps Porzingis, 26 minutes, 5 of 12 shooting. He was the only one that was really knocking down threes for this Hawks team. He had 4 threes. He was 6 for 6 on his free throws, 20 points, 2 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks. And that's exactly what you brought Kristaps Porzingis into this roster for. There's not a lot of players on planet Earth, not only in the NBA, but in planet Earth, that are that tall, that big, that athletic, try that hard on defense, and can shoot it that well from three. I don't think you need Kristaps Porzingis to be your best three-point shooter on the floor. If he's the only one that's hit 3 or more three-pointers in your starting lineup, excuse me, not even your starting lineup, your entire team, he's the only one that hit 3 or more threes, something clearly went wrong for everybody else. And I don't think you're going to win a lot of games that way. But I think it was really cool seeing him out on the floor. Obviously, he's a different player, stretch big, that can go both ways, can run. I think it'll be interesting to see how he fits in with the system throughout the course of the season. I think it'll be even more interesting to see just how many games he decides to play. He's a player that has been obviously very injury prone throughout his career, so we'll see if he actually has the chance to play all 82. I mean, he's not going to, but I think that means we'll see more Onyeka Okongwu, who clearly has to figure something out because he was minus 19 on the day. Ugh. Overall, though, he played pretty well. 30 minutes, 8 of 12 shooting, 18 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. So, yeah, those are some of the things I thought was really interesting. I think another thing you have to really be looked out for here is Nickeil Alexander-Walker went 2 for 15 shooting on the day. He took the most shots of everybody on this Hawks roster. Went 1 for 5 from 3, finished with 10 points, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. I do think it's interesting, man. You had 4 blocks out of the starting lineup, another 2 from your bench, one of them coming from Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He cannot be taking that many shots and missing that many. In 28 minutes, 2 of 15? That jumps out to you pretty clearly as well, especially as a player that has been known for his, obviously defensively, but you know he can shoot. You can't go 2 for 15. So like I said, I don't know. I just think, honestly, you can't take too much away from a night like this. I think it's interesting that you get a chance to see these guys for the first time. We didn't get to see any Asa Newell, who I don't think is going to be getting that much time this year. I do think it's interesting that in a blowout like this, we couldn't have got him his first minutes or something like that. But, hey, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So, yeah, Hawks lose 138-118, start the season 0 for 1. When you look forward here, they actually face off again on Friday as they head on the road to take on the Orlando Magic, an Orlando Magic team that I believe won tonight. Yeah, they did. 1-0 to start the year after they got a big win here on Wednesday. As I speak to you here on Thursday, early Thursday morning, to beat the Heat 125-121. I think they're going to be special this year, too. They were a team that had a lot of issues just with injuries last season. They won 125-121. Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner. They got a lot of young talent on that team. So I think that'll be a good stepping stone for this Hawks team to try and go out on the road and try and get a big win that puts them back in a position of feeling confident in what they can do. I think the Hawks have a chance to be really special this year. They can be a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, and I just know it. I think they have a chance to be really, really special if they figure it out, obviously. And I just think that there's too many good shooters and too many guys that can score the basketball on this team to where what happened tonight against what happened tonight against this team from Canada, the Raptors. God, man, I got to lock in here, man. Shout out Canada for playing the World Series. But yeah, they got to be able to shoot the ball a little bit better than that. Okay, so look, I want to make sure that we also took a moment to just talk about some of, I think, the major storylines from the NBA in day one. Number one, really, really excited to see the return of the NBA, or the NBA, excuse me, inside the NBA. God, it is late. What time is it? I'm recording this at 2:34 a.m. So this is right here the amount of work that I'm doing for you guys at home to make sure I get this content out for you guys. But here's what I have to say. Inside the NBA returned. It was really, really cool to see Shaq and Kenny and Chuck and Ernie all on the same stage again. The show looks the exact same. And I think the fact that they allowed them to try and give them the space to be able to do what they want to do. It feels the exact same. All the graphics feel the exact same. It just says ESPN instead of TNT all over it. So, yeah, that's I think, fantastic news. The other thing I think is interesting, Victor Wembanyama looks like he's absolutely insane. I saw a tweet. It said that, I can't believe this is Anthony Davis's welcome to the NBA moment. Anthony Davis has been in the league for a long time. I kind of took it more as when you see the video of Lightning McQueen and the other driver, Jackson Storm, and you see Jackson Storm pulling up against Lightning McQueen and just like pulling off. I think that's what we're seeing from Victor Wembanyama. We all know he had that crazy offseason where he traded with Hakeem Olajuwon, and he was a Kevin Garnett, and he was living with the Monks. I think that we're looking at an opportunity this year that we need to start talking about Victor Wembanyama as the best player on earth at a certain point this season. I think that's what's going to happen. He looks unbelievable. He looks a little bit bigger for sure. He looks stronger. He's getting guys off of him. He moves fluid. I think what's crazy to watch, he's going up against Anthony Davis and Derek Lively, two great defenders, both guys that can try and defend well, especially Anthony Davis, and he made them both look bad. He's pulling guys into deep waters. Derek Lively's having to guard somebody that can dribble between his legs and do spin moves and step back threes from outside. Derek Lively's not supposed to be having to do that, especially against a guy that is that much taller than him too. I mean, AD looks like a child. Derek Lively's not a small dude either. And here's Victor Wembanyama at 7'4", 7'5". Special player, man. And I think what I was really, really impressed with also is the rest of that roster looks good too. They're young. You got Stephon Castle, our local talent from here in the Metro Atlanta area. I think that Vassell looks like he's really good. I totally forgot Dylan Harper they drafted this year. One of the top picks is already playing well. Man, I think that Spurs team can be special, everybody. Don't let De'Aaron Fox come back and be able to play like the old De'Aaron Fox. This is a team that I think that can be pretty good this year, especially in the Western Conference. This will be that step. You're moving into year 3 with this star power that you have with Victor Wembanyama. This is the year where you're like, all right, year 1 was like, this is impressive for a rookie. Last year, you're like, oh, he's trending upward, but then he gets hurt. This is the year that he blows. This is the year that we start seeing him work towards an actual playoff appearance. He's got some talent and some young guys around him, some dudes with energy. I mean, just watching him on the floor against the Mavericks tonight, it felt like you're watching a bunch of just a little bit older guys versus a bunch of young guns that are ready to go get it. Like, they work hard. Them boys are fast. They get out in transition quickly, all led by that super head of the snake in Victor Wembanyama. And don't let De'Aaron Fox come back. You know Swiper's quick as can be. This team, I think, has a chance to be pretty good. But also, I mean, we're overreacting against the first day of the of the NBA season. I know the thing, and then maybe this is just me being biased. It's 100% me being biased. I think the Golden State Warriors are going to be pretty good this year. I think that I really enjoyed what I saw from that starting lineup that now features the man that they had the holdout on for the entire summer, Jonathan Kuminga, in the starting lineup. What I think is the issue with Jonathan Kuminga for a long time is that he wasn't a player that seemed to really mesh with what this offense was doing. I think a lot of that was predicated on the fact that he couldn't shoot the 3-ball when his opportunity was called. Jonathan Kuminga was knocking down shots against the Lakers, right? Knocking down shots versus Lakers. This was a game where I saw Steph sit for a long time. I can't tell you how many years I watched Stephen Curry play where if Steph comes out of the game, it's over. I think all that changed when they added Jimmy Butler this last year. You got to have an opportunity to see Steph actually take a break. And I think what we saw the back end of last season with the Warriors, with Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler both on the floor or both available to play, I think it makes for a very special team. I think that we undersold what Jimmy Butler was actually going through just pain-wise last year when he got hurt. I think it's disappointing that we obviously didn't get to see Steph in that playoff series last year. But I think Steph is healthy. I think Jimmy Butler's healthy. I think Draymond Green looks pretty good. I think Jonathan Kuminga is the young gun that's going to be able to bring us some energy. Al Horford, for some reason, can still play basketball really well on both ends, shooting the ball and knocking down shots and playing defense. I think the Golden State Warriors' only limitation is injuries. If not, they're going to be a top team in the Western Conference that's going to be vying for a title. Do they win it? I don't know. I think OKC is obviously still pretty good. I think there's still a lot of talent throughout the Western Conference, obviously. But I don't think they're going to be in the same conversations with teams like the Lakers trying to fight for a spot to try and get into the play on. The Lakers didn't look very good. Obviously, LeBron's not there, who's 40 years old, though. But, I mean, shoot, this is with all due respect to LeBron, who I love so much. I think LeBron's a great player. My second favorite player all time behind behind Stephen Curry. I think he's the greatest basketball player of all time, but we're not going to debate that at the moment. But I will say this. I don't think that LeBron James coming back changes what this Lakers team looks like. I mean, they are very, very Luka, Austin Reeves heavy. Very. Those guys, I think, combined for, I think, just on scoring and assisting, like 80-some of their points. Luka obviously had over 40. He was insane, and he was unguardable. And yet there you look up, and they're down by 20 at certain points in this game. Because nobody else is getting buckets except for him and Austin Reeves. I think DeAndre Ayton is, like, a good pickup, but he is just, he doesn't move me, man. So I think that really stuck out to me as well on a crazy day, the first couple of days in the NBA. I really like the NBA and NBC returning. That means a lot to me personally, just because I work at the NBC station here in Atlanta. So that means more viewership for our station. It means more money, and hopefully I get paid more. We'll see about that. But yeah, of course, that's a big deal. I think that's crazy too, because those doubleheaders also. My coworkers didn't get to leave the office on Tuesday night until like 1:15 in the morning, because the show didn't come on until I think 12:45, if that. Probably came on at 1, which means they didn't get off TV till 1:30, and they went home after that. That's brutal. I was at home watching the games. Great time. So, but yeah, big for that. I think that does bring back some of that nostalgia. I think what NBC does really want, I think, is what it's also forced other networks to do is, like, guys, there's so much romanticism about sports. There's so many big things about sports that we really, really enjoy. And one of them is making things feel big. Let us see the intros. NBC is going to do that for us. They let us see it on their first day doing the broadcast. That was absolutely awesome. And it felt good. I think it's really funny that Michael Jordan interview is, they paid Michael Jordan millions of dollars to just sit at his house and do probably like a 2-hour interview, and they're just cutting like, I don't know, like 4-minute segments from each one. I mean, it's interesting because, boy, we don't get to see Michael Jordan ever talk really. But I do think it's funny that he found a way to make that much money just by sitting in his house and talk for a little bit. We're not going to see him on anything updated throughout the season. We're just going to get his kind of general thoughts about things. They're just going to kind of cut those different segments throughout the year. But it's Michael Jordan, so that's cool. We love to see that. So I'm excited for that. Oh, boy, I'm so excited the NBA is back. I love the NBA. On this account, you're going to be seeing a whole bunch of different stuff. We're going to be talking, obviously, a lot of football, NFL, and college for all our area teams. But with the NBA back, for sure, we're going to be talking a lot about the NBA because, boy, do I love the NBA. I think it's so much fun. And I think this is going to be a fun season, especially here in Atlanta for a Hawks team. I think that can be pretty successful. So, guys, thank you guys so much for watching today's episode as we react to day 2 of the NBA season and the Hawks. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. We'll be trying to put out episodes every single day talking about the area teams here in and around the city of Atlanta, and also my personal thoughts on just any and everything else I want to talk about. But that is the main focus. Local stuff here in the city, talking about the biggest storylines for Metro Atlanta. And boy, there are a lot of massive storylines for our area teams. So make sure you guys hit those buttons. Make sure you guys hit that what's the little bell? The bell right there at the bottom of your screen that allows you to get the alerts. Make sure you hit that as well, the notification bell. And I will see you guys tomorrow for another episode of The Reggie Chatman Show. Have a good evening, guys.